Hello everyone. Now we are in the second session of the CIS 2168 Data Driven Design. I am Dr. Hari Mohan Pandey from the Department of Computer Science and my contact details are given here. In this session, we will be learning and implementing Python programming. We will start with the basic of Python programming, and later on we will utilize Python programming for dealing with massive real world data. To achieve the goal, this session has some objective, and the objective of this session are discussed in the next slide. So all in all, I have framed 4 different objectives for this particular session. So the first objective, which is given here, is discussion on Python programming language. So the aim of this session is to start with basics of Python programming language. The second objective, which is listed here, is to understand syntax of Python programming. Then the third objective is to create a virtual environment for executing Python code. So in this, the purpose of this third objective is to understand the purpose of creating the virtual environment, why there is a need of creating the virtual environment, what kind of benefit one can get by creating a virtual environment for executing a Python programming code. Then the last objective is to understand how to install packages as you go. Some important points are highlighted in the bottom of this slide, and all in all 4 points are highlighted here, and these 4 points will help you throughout the semester in this module. So you will work on you will implement all your programming code, Python programming code, using Linux platform, and I strongly believe that you all have bootable Linux bootable pen drive, which you will use for implementing the program given in the tutorials and to complete the task, portfolio task, and the task for coursework too. In this module, we will work on Python 3. You will use Atom editor for writing your code. The data, log data, you can get log data from the shared cloud. So if you want to use the log data, then you can directly access the log data from the shared cloud environment. Now, the next slide is given for the first objective, that is introduction to Python programming. Okay, so we will start with the introduction of Python programming, and the first point which is given here is Python is high level language. High level. So what is the meaning of high level language? The meaning of high level language is, as a programmer, it is difficult for a programmer to understand machine code. So what programmer generally does, they write their code, their programming code, using a high level language. Suppose as a programmer, you are writing your program P using high level language. This is the program you are writing using high level language. Then you need a translator T. There is a need of translator T, which will translate your program instruction in the form of machine code. So there is a need of translator. So if you are writing a Python program, then you have to have a translator to convert your instructions in the form of machine understandable code. Python is interpreted language, it means that Python is a type of programming language for which most of its implementation execute instructions directly and freely without previously compiling a program into machine language instruction. Python is interactive and it follows object-oriented scripting language. Actually, object-oriented programming is popular programming paradigm. In object-oriented programming paradigm, we use object, that is object-oriented programming follows the concept of object. And what is object? Object contains data and code. So if you have object, then this object will contain two things. One is data D and code C. Data will be in the form of the field, and most often data is referred as attribute. So sometimes or most often we call this data as attributes. On the other hand, code C is referred as properties. So Python is designed to be highly readable. The next feature is it's highly readable. The reason is given in the next point, as Python supports simple English keyword for writing the program, whereas other programming languages uses punctuations and synthetical constructions for the program. That is the reason Python programming is easy to understand and it is highly readable. This slide shows the characteristics of Python programming, and the first point is Python is popular because it supports functional programming, it supports structured programming methods, and it also supports object-oriented programming. Same I already discussed in the previous slide. It can be used as a scripting language. Python is a dynamic data type and dynamic type checking language, so you can use variable as you go while writing the Python program. And Python can be easily integrated with C, C++ or Java or any other programming language. In the next slide, I have given an example to demonstrate how Python supports dynamic data type and dynamic type checking. So in this example, you can see this is very simple example. It has one variable given at line number 8, and the name of the variable is x, which stores a value 5 in x. What we are doing, we are simply using a print statement to print the type of x. So here, since x is storing an integer value, so the type of x will be integer type. That is the reason the first output is class int. In line number 8, in line number 10, what we are doing, we are assigning a string value to the variable x, and the string value is CIS2168. And in line number 11, what we are doing, we are printing the type of x, and here the type of x is in string, so that is the reason we get the string, class string. Why we use Python programming for data analysis? The reason is given here. So some features, key features are highlighted here in this slide. So Python is easy to learn. So what does it mean? Python is easy to learn means it has few keywords. That is the reason it is easy to learn. The structure of Python code are simple. That is the reason it is easy to learn. Syntax is simple and clearly defined. That is the reason it is easy to learn. So all in all, there are 3 features comes under this point, that is easy to learn. Python is easy to read. The next point, then the next feature is Python is easy to read. What does it mean? Python is easy to read language mainly because it has more clearly defined and visible to eyes instruction. The next feature is easy to maintain. Python supports bulks of easy to maintain. Python code is fairly easy to maintain because it has less keywords and the syntax is very simple. Python supports massive library, so bulk of library is there, which are very portable and cross-platform. So the same library can be used on Linux, Windows, or any other platform. The next feature is portability. Python programming language is portable and it can run on a wide variety of hardware platform and it supports the same interface on all platforms. The next feature is database. Python provides interface to all major commercial databases. That is the reason Python is popular. The next feature is GUI programming, graphical user interface programming. Python supports graphical user interface applications that can be created and ported to many system calls, libraries, and Windows system. So that is the reason Python is very popular for graphical user interface programming. The next point is extendable. Python is extendable programming language. Low-level modules can be added in Python to interpret, and the low-level modules enables programmer to add or customize their tools to be more efficient. So that is the reason Python is extendable. In the next slide, I will show you the interface which you will use for writing and executing the Python code. So this is the command line interface for executing and writing the Python program. So you can see here we will use Python 3 and your code will come here. In the next slide, I have given the basic introduction about variables, how you will use variables in Python programming language. So what is variable? Variable is nothing but a memory location in the memory. Suppose this box represents a memory. Then in this, if you are interested to occupy some space, this is the space you want to occupy, so you need to give the name. Let's say A is the name for this smaller box. So A is a variable and this variable has some address. So what is variable? Variable is nothing but a memory location in the memory. In this example, you can see there are 3 variables given: variable A, variable B, and variable C. These variables are dynamically typed. The first variable A stores a value 4 of integer type. Second variable B stores a value hello of a string type, whereas variable C stores a boolean value that is true. In the next slide, I have given programming example to demonstrate variables type and type checking in Python programming. So in this example, in the first part of this example, you can see the 3 variables are given: A, B, and C. Value 4 is assigned to A, value hello is assigned to B, value true is assigned to C. And what we are doing in line number 10, 11, and 12, we are simply printing the value of A, B, and C. That's it. So we get the output 4, hello and true. From this print we get 4. From print 11 we get hello. Print at line number 12 we get true. In this example we have added 3 more print statement for type checking. So what we want to do, we want to see the type of A, we want to see the type for B, we want to see the type for C, and 4 hello true are coming from these 3 print statement, and integer, string and boolean type are coming from the print statement given at line number 14, 15 and 16. In the next slide I have given the operators, simple introduction of arithmetic operator and a cascading operator, concatenation operator. Python programming supports almost all the operators which are supported by any other programming language. So we can use arithmetic operator, we can use logical operator, we can use conditional operator, we can use relational operator or any other operator in the same way like we use in any other programming language. In this example, I have given 2 examples in this slide. In the first example, what I'm doing, I'm using arithmetic operator plus and arithmetic operator multiplication for adding and multiplication of 2 variables A and B. So here you can see the value 3 is assigned to variable 3, value 4 is assigned to variable B, and using this instruction and this instruction we are simply adding and applying multiplication, and we are storing the value respectively in C and D. On the other hand, in this example we have 2 variable A and B which stores a string value hello and word, and this plus is nothing but a concatenation operator which concatenate 2 string values. So when we will write C is equal to A plus B, it means that we are interested in concatenating hello with word. So here you can see A is equal to 3, B is equal to 4, C is equal to A plus B, D is equal to A multiplied by B. Print C will give us 7, print D will give us 12. Same is given here, 7 and 12. For this example, A is equal to hello, B is equal to word, C is equal to A plus B. Print C will be hello word. Now the next slide is for the decision making statement. As far as decision making statements used to control the flow of the program. In Python programming, we can use 4 different types of decision making statement. I have listed in this session, I have listed 3 most important decision making statement. So I will start with the first decision making statement, which is if statement. So here in the beginning I have given the syntax for if statement, which is very simple to understand. We will simply write if expression. If this expression is true, then execute this. So in this example you can see test is my variable. The value at the address of test is 20. If test is higher than 15, then do this. If this is true, then do this. Here test is 20, it is greater than 50, this is true. If this is true, then this will get executed. So same you can see here in the output. The next slide will explain another type of decision making statement, which is if else statement. Here the syntax describes that if expression, this statement will get executed based on the value of this expression. If this is true, then this will get executed. If this will be false, then this will not get executed. If this is false, then the else part will get executed. I have given one example to demonstrate the working of if-else statement. In this example, I have used two variables. The first variable is number 1, which stores value 100. The second variable is number 2, which stores value 150. So this is 100 in number 1, 150 in number 2. And I am applying an expression number 1 is greater than number 2. That is, number 1 is 100 is greater than 150. This is not true. 100 is not greater than 150. This is false. It means that this statement will not get executed. So if this statement will not get executed, then the false part, that is else part, will get executed and we will get this output. So the output is number 2 is greater. In the next slide, we will discuss a new decision making statement, which is if statement. So the syntax here you can see the syntax given for if else statement. So here elif is a keyword and it is used in Python and it replaces else if. So this elif is used as a replacement of else if statement, and it provides elif statements helps a programmer to add a new condition in the program, and therefore we call it chained conditional statements because it supports several conditions. First condition, second condition, third condition. So several conditions are there. That is the reason we call it chained conditional statement. An example for if else statement is given in the next slide. So here you can see we have created a variable a and the value at a is 4. If a is equal to 4, this is my first expression. If this will be true, then execute this. If this is not true, that is if this is false, then execute this. If this is also false, then execute this. So this is chained decision making statement. The next slide will introduce you how you can use looping statement in Python programming. So in this slide I have used a for loop, and in order to run the loop you have to have a loop variable. In this example, item is my loop variable, and what this loop will do, this loop will keep on running and it will produce the output item, and it will multiply the by 2. That is here the item is 1, 4, 5 and 6. So 2 will be multiplied with these values, and then loop will produce the output. In the next slide, I have given the concept of virtual environment and why there is a need of virtual environment for executing a Python program. So in this slide, we will understand the purpose of creating the virtual environment in Python programming. The first thing to understand here is what is virtual environment. Virtual environment at its core provides a separate, or we can say isolated environment to execute a Python program. So Python virtual environment is to create an isolated environment for Python project. So we call it Python project or Python virtual environment. This means that each project can have its own dependency regardless of what dependency every other project has. So suppose you have created a project P1, you have created another project P2, you have created another project P3. So the dependency for P1 will be separate and dependency for P2 will be separate. You can add extra packages to the virtual environment. So the key benefit of creating virtual environment is to avoid any conflict that may arise due to project dependencies. So you can add extra packages to the core Python while creating the virtual environment for the Python program, and the key benefit is it avoids conflicts of that can arise due to dependencies. So how you will create the virtual environment? To create the virtual environment, you have to have a core Python. You can create a virtual project using and it will be linked with the core Python. You can add extra libraries. You can add extra libraries, extra packages according to your requirement for executing the Python program, and you can have multiple virtual environment, and you can add as many packages as you want for the different virtual environment, Python environment. In the next slide, I will explain how you can create a virtual environment for executing a Python program, virtual project for Python programming. So in order to create a virtual environment in Linux, you can use the command mk virtual environment. This is the command, and this command you can execute on the command line, that is on the terminal. And this is CIS2303 is the name of the virtual environment which we are creating. Then after executing this command, you have to execute another command, that is work on CIS2303 to activate an existing virtual environment. So this command will help you to work on your virtual environment. Under this virtual environment, if you want to install a package, then how you will install a package, the idea is given in the next slide. So if you want to install the new packages, new libraries to your virtual environment, then you have to use pip command. Pip command is used to install the new packages. So here we are executing pip on the command line, that is on the terminal. We will simply write pip install numpy is my package. Numpy we will use for mathematical operation, and by executing this, your numpy package will get installed to the virtual environment. So here in this slide, I am using CIS2303 as my virtual project or virtual environment. Now after installing the package, you can import the class from the package. So in order to import the class from the package in your program, you need to simply write the statement like from numpy, the name of the package, import the name of the class. So this class I want to import in my Python program from numpy package, and then you can perform the operation, or you can write instructions and numpy will support the instructions given in array class. Given in the array class. Now you can start the tutorial. In order to start the tutorial, you can use this link, and the home page for the tutorial is shown here. So these are the activities, different activities which you are going to perform in the tutorial session. That is, first of all, you will create the virtual environment, you will create the setup, then you will run Python application, you will learn basics of Python, and then at the end of this session you will work on some exercises to see your understanding. So same thing is given here. So first of all, you need to create the setup by following the instruction, then follow the instructions to know how to run a Python code, then write your first Python program and execute it, and finally work on different exercises to dig the concept deep. The summary is given here. The summary of this session is given in this slide. So in this session you basically learn the first point, which is basics of Python programming. Then the second point is understanding syntax and programming concepts of Python programming. So you got to know how to use variable, how to assign value into a variable, how to do the type checking, how to perform operation using operators. Then we discussed the decision making statement, if statement, if else statement, if else statement, and then we discussed the loop and how to create virtual environment, what is the benefit of creating the virtual environment, how to install the libraries. You can use pip command to install the packages or libraries in your virtual environment. In the next session we will work on page hit analysis using Python. So the next session will be dedicated for page hit analysis, and in the tutorial session you will use Python programming for page hit analysis. That's all from my side. For any query, you can write me email, you can contact me, you can ask your question during the tutorial session in the lab, or you can I will be available online during office hours or drop-in session. You can use Microsoft Teams or Skype for Business to discuss your doubts. If you want to discuss your doubt other than the office hours or the tutorial session, then you can write me email, and you can make booking. I will give a time slot so that you can come online. I will be available online during that time, and I will clarify all your doubts. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this session.